Let's discuss this a bit further now with Gabriel Hetland, an associate professor of Latin American, Caribbean and Latino Studies and Sociology at the University of Albany. He joins us live from New York. Professor, very good to have you on the program. Let's talk about Maduro's defiance here. I mean, even though Trump has sent a massive amount of military hardware to that region, some people call it a big gamble, but Maduro, he's going nowhere. He's staying put. How much of a problem is that now posing for Donald Trump at this point?
As you said, Maduro is going nowhere. He seems to be calling Trump's bluff. It's very unclear what Trump's actual plans are. He's kind of incoherent on it. He says, one day that we're going to be doing land strikes. He said that weeks and weeks ago that they were going to be happening very soon. He said recently that he had a phone call with Maduro. There's not a lot of details of the phone call. And so I think that Maduro's not simply going to flee. He's not going to go into exile, although there's some reports as well that he may have, presented an offer to that. So I think all of this is just exposing the lack of a concrete plan and the fact that, to the extent that there is a plan, it doesn't have support of the American people. It doesn't even have support within a full support within Trump's own party. So I think that there's just a lot of questions right now, and what Trump actually wants to do remains unclear.
So what about the support within Venezuela for Maduro himself? If Trump follows through and launches those strikes on Venezuela, do you think that his armed forces are going to support him?
The armed forces have consistently supported Maduro, and they are deeply tied to the regime. They're financially tied. They're politically tied. They would be in a lot of trouble if Maduro was ousted. They are implicated in repressive acts within Venezuela. So I don't think that they're, ready to ditch Maduro at this point. The people of Venezuela, I think, are nervous about U.S. attacks. Maduro is not very popular with the population overall, but there's just so much profound uncertainty that I think that, people aren't sure what is going to happen. And so that creates tremendous amounts of stress right now. But the military, so far has been really rock solid with Maduro. And there's no signs that that is going to change anytime soon.
So in your view, what's all this about? I mean, is it about drugs? Is it about regime change? Or is it actually about Venezuela's oil resources?
I think the idea that it's about drugs is very hard to believe for many reasons. I mean, including the fact that Trump just pardoned an actual head of a narco state, Juan Orlando Hernandez, who was serving 45 years for drug smuggling in the United States. Also, the fact that there are very few percent of cocaine from South America that comes through the Caribbean and travels through Venezuela. Most cocaine through Venezuela goes to Europe. So there's not a lot of credibility there. It really does seem to be pointed in the direction of regime change. There's signs that it might be about Venezuelan oil, although Maduro has offered the U.S. control over oil. I think really there's some different sort of factions within the Trump administration who have different views, different interests. Marco Rubio is one of the hardliners. He does want to depose Maduro. He wants to depose the president in Cuba as well and take both Venezuela and Cuba and maybe Nicaragua after that as prizes and say, look, we're able to do what we want. But there's others who are more diplomatic. And so I think that incoherence is really just fundamentally on display. I think Trump would love Maduro to leave office, but I don't know that he actually wants to get into an invasion of Venezuela. It's not even clear if he wants to bomb on the land. He said that he will, but I think there's some reticence to that as well.
So, Professor, from what you know about sort of the geography of Venezuela, I mean, there are some experts who are saying that this could turn into Trump's Vietnam, a prolonged war that's basically unwinnable. What do you think would happen if Trump sends in those ground troops into Venezuela?
Yeah, I think that would be a nightmare scenario. I mean, Venezuela is a very mountainous country. There are all sorts of factions within Venezuela that have relationships with Maduro that would not be happy with a right-wing conservative government that was closely aligned with the United States. There's a lot of illegal armed groups that are involved in gold mining. There's a lot of corruption within the Venezuelan state. And so the idea that this would be a quick and easy operation, which frankly has never happened anywhere, but certainly the possibility of that happening in Venezuela is incredibly remote. And so I think that it would be an incredibly chaotic, an incredibly bloody, an incredibly horrific situation. It could be another Iraq, it could be another Vietnam, it could be a really, really difficult situation, which could last quite a long time with an unknown outcome.
Professor Hetland, thank you so much for joining us and providing us with your analysis. Thank you.